everybody, welcome back to Far From Normal's online art class. Today we are going to be discussing colors. We are going to discuss the color wheel, different kinds of colors, and how different colors blend together to make even more colors. So what you're going to need for today's class is some colored pencils, a regular pencil. There are 3 worksheets that you're going to need. They are available to print on my blog, so go ahead and print those out. You're going to need them. You'll also need some plain paper, and then you're going to need a few things that of different shapes and sizes to trace around for our project later. I have a few of them here. I just have my pencil sharpener and a magnet from my refrigerator and a ruler. Anything you have that's different, interesting shapes, go ahead and grab that because we're going to need it here in a little bit. So the first thing that we're going to talk about is different kinds of colors. We have what's called primary colors and what's called secondary colors. So the primary colors are red, blue, and yellow. And those 3 colors combine to make every other color that you know. We are not actually going to be discussing black and white today. We're going to get to them next week. When we're talking about colors today, we're talking about everything but black and white. They're sort of in a little space all of their own. So we have our primary colors of red and blue and yellow. Those combine to make what's called secondary colors, which are purple, orange, and green. We're going to do a little activity now so that you can see how they mix together and how they combine to make those different colors. So what we have here are some glasses of water. In them, I'm going to use them to help you see how colors blend and form our color wheel. So we're going to start with our 3 primary colors, like I mentioned before. They are red, yellow, and blue. With these 3 colors, we can make every other color of the rainbow. So we're going to start up here. We're going to make our cup of red water. Over here, we're going to make our cup of yellow water. Get a little. And over here, we're going to make one with blue. Now, we have these 3 empty glasses in between. So what are we going to do with them? In them, we're going to blend the 2 colors that they're between. So in this glass, we're going to combine red and yellow. Anytime you're mixing colors, you want to start with the lighter color and add the darker color to it. That way you're not having to add tons of the lighter color to try to balance out the darker. So we're going to start with yellow. We're going to put in a few drops of yellow. And then we're going to add in a drop or 2 of red. And we're going to give that a little stir, and you can see that has made a beautiful orange color. So red and yellow combine to make orange. That's our first secondary color. Now we're going to do blue and red. Blue and red are about the same darkness, but we're going to go ahead and start with the red. We're going to add about 4 drops of red and a couple of drops of blue. And when we give that a stir, they are going to combine to make a lovely purple color. I know that might look a little bit dark on camera, but it is a very nice purple. So now our second secondary color is purple or violet. You can call it with whichever. So we have red and blue that combine to make violet. Last but not least, down here we have our blue and our yellow, and in between them we're going to go ahead and combine them. So we'll put in a few drops of our yellow since it is lighter than blue. We'll start with it. We'll add a couple drops of blue, and we will give it a stir, and we have green. So now you can see how we can take all of the different primary colors and we can combine them in different ways to end up with different colors. So just one more time, we have our red, our blue, and our yellow are our primary colors. Yellow and red combine to make orange. Yeah, red and blue combine to make purple. And blue and yellow combine to make green. So our primary colors of red, blue, and yellow, and our secondary colors of purple, green, and orange. So now you know your primary, your secondary colors, and how the primaries mix together to make the secondaries. Now you can see how the colors combine and how they make the color wheel. You're going to go ahead and get out your worksheet that has the color wheel on it, and we're going to go ahead and fill that in now. Now that we have our color wheel finished, we're going to talk about the relationships between the different colors in the color wheel. The first one we're going to talk about is what's called complementary colors. So if you want to go ahead and get out this sheet here, the one that says complementary colors on it, I'm going to talk a little bit about what those are. Those are the colors that are opposite each other in the color wheel, and it's always a combination of a primary and a secondary color. So if we look at our color wheel, we can see red and green are opposite each other, blue and orange are opposite each other, and violet and yellow are opposite each other. So those are our three sets of complementary colors. So on this sheet, what we're going to do is we're going to color those complementary colors and make them overlap each other. When you combine complementary colors, they can make different shades of brown. You can also use them to darken each other if you're coloring or if you're painting. If you have blue and you want it to be a little darker, rather than add black, you can add a little bit of orange. It'll still look blue, it'll just be a darker shade of blue. When we're doing this activity, I want you to remember what we did at the beginning when we were combining our colors, and remember that we always want to color the lighter color first and then add the darker color to it. So we're going to go ahead and color these, and we'll see what color happens in the middle when we overlap them. You want to make sure you're coloring kind of light so that the colors can really blend here in the middle. So now that you've done that, you can see how these different colors blend in the middle. And it might not look like a solid brown like you're used to, like if I were to take just the brown colored pencil and color with it. But if you keep messing around with it and you keep working on it and coloring maybe a little bit more blue or a little bit more orange, you can really get to where you can see how you can blend these different complementary colors together and get different shades of brown, and how you can also mix them together and get different shades of the colors that they are. So you can get a darker orange or a darker blue, a darker red or a darker green. It's just a fun thing to really, play with a little bit and see what different effects you can get. The next kind of colors we're going to talk about are called tertiary colors. What a tertiary color is a primary color plus a secondary color. We did not include them in our color wheel because that makes for a very complicated color wheel. But if you can imagine the colors that are in between red and orange, orange and yellow. If you ever look in a box of crayons, there's colors that say red violet or violet red or blue green or green blue. All of those are tertiary colors. Anytime we combine a primary color and a secondary color together, like red orange, we get a tertiary color. So what we're going to do is we're going to make a couple of those ourselves here. We have blue plus green and blue green, and red plus violet is red violet. What I would like you to do is, once again, we're going to blend in this circle. We'll go ahead and color the blue, color the green, but then in this circle, we're going to try to blend our blue and our green pencils together to get a nice blue-green color. And we'll do the same thing down here with this one. How I ended up with a nice blue-green and a nice red-violet. Just like with the complementary colors, you can always add a little bit more blue, a little bit more green. You can color them in different orders, or you can press harder with one than you do with the other and just see what different effects you can get. You could also do you could do a yellow-green too if you wanted to try that and see what you can get with that. So there's a lot of different possibilities with these colors, so it's fun to just play around and see what different colors you can end up with. Now we've talked about all kinds of colors. The last group of colors we're going to talk about is the analogous colors. The definition of analogous colors is on this paper with your tertiary colors. What analogous colors are is they are two primary colors and all of the colors in between them on the color wheel. So if we look at the color wheel and we see, say we choose red and yellow, in between those are going to be orange, our red orange, and our yellow orange, which we learned about on our tertiary colors paper. So what you're going to do now is you're going to choose two primary colors and the secondary color that makes them up, and we're going to do with an analogous color project. I'm going to show you how to do it, and then you're going to be able to make one of your own. So the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to take a plain sheet of paper and we're going to divide it into a whole bunch of sections that we're going to be coloring in with our colors. So I am going to go ahead and I have, like I said, several just interesting things. I have a roll of tape, and I have my pencil sharpener, and I have a magnet, and I have a little ruler. Anything you have laying around that's circular shaped, square shaped, that you want to trace and make it part of your picture, then you can do that. What we're going to do is we are going to just draw all these shapes all around our paper. The idea at the end is to have lots of different sections that we can color in using all of our different colors. So we want to overlap them to make big spaces and small spaces, and spaces of all different shapes and sizes. So you can put, square things over top of circular things, you can overlap, you can draw lines, and you want to keep going until your whole page is filled. Remember how we talked about composition last time and really filling the page. So you want to keep drawing and keep overlapping until all of your paper is covered with these little sections. And then we're going to go ahead and color them. I'm going to show you how I do that. I picked yellow and blue and green for my two primary and my secondary colors. And then I'll be able to make all different shades in between on my picture. So I'm going to show you now how I do that. project all finished. I only showed you my coloring about half of it because I knew it was going to take quite some time, and I just hoped you could get the idea. But you can see how I did some darker and some lighter. I did some blending of my colors to create some blue greens and some yellow greens. So you can also, if you'd like, you can go back over your lines with a magic marker or a black pen. It kind of makes it look like stained glass, but you don't have to do that if you don't want to. So this is what you should have when you're done, with whatever colors you chose. I'd be really interested in seeing some of them. If you want to go link up to our Facebook page, you can upload your pictures there so everybody can see what different colors you used. Next week, we are going to talk more about colors. We are going to bring black and white into it. Next week, we are going to need to use some paint. Paint is a lot easier for blending the colors we're going to use next week. If you have acrylic or tempera paints, those are the easiest to use. I'll also put some links on my blog of ones I recommend in case you don't have any and need to order some. You're going to need a paintbrush, obviously, some plain paper, and I will have a worksheet or two up on the blog for you to print out. So that's everything for this week. I hope you enjoyed learning about colors and how they all work together, and I will see you all next week.